Hello everyone. In this video, I will show you how to test reliability and validity of a questionnaire in SPSS. And this data, I will leave it in the description section such that you can download and practice it on your own. In research, an instrument must be reliable before it can be considered valid. And for that matter, we'll start with the reliability aspect first. The reliability checks whether questions that are supposed to measure the same thing behave consistently. That is, they have a lot of things in common. So in dealing with reliability, we check something called alpha. So the alpha value must be greater than or equal to 0.7 or 70%. That is the acceptable way. So if it is less than that, then it is not accepted. That means the questions are not reliable. So I am going to use these particular questions from the questionnaire. Let's say this is one section, that is to examine the current facility management practices in Ghanaian universities and their environment impacts. So ranging from strongly disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. So now this particular session, this is how I coded it in the questionnaire. So I don't write everything in all. So from here, impact 1, FM practice 1 up to through to the 10. So when you come to the data set, you realize that the items are 10. So in reliability, we want to see whether these items measuring here measuring the current facility management practices behave consistently. They have a lot in common. That is what the reliability is about. So now let's go back to the data. To perform reliability analysis, we go to analyze. Then we come to scale and then reliability analysis. So this one I have already performed it before. That is why you could see it being here. So at the normal circumstance, it will be here. Then you select the items you need to work on. So we have FM. You select all the items, just control and then be selecting. You hold the control key and be selecting. Then I have finished selecting them all. Then you use this one to shift them here. Then you run. I want to show you something. When you move to the analyze, scale, and then reliability analysis, after moving the items here, make sure the model here is on alpha. Though by default you see it on alpha, but just be very sure. Then you say okay. Now this value here, the threshold should be 0.7 and above, and this one is 0.953, which means it is excellent. That means they have a lot in common. They are consistent. So that means the data set, this data here, is reliable. They all have the same thing in common, making reference to what they are measuring. Now, the validity aspects also measure whether, let me go back to the questionnaire, whether this thing, this particular data set actually measures what we claim it should measure. For example, to examine the current facility management practices we are measuring the current facility management practices. So this particular information should not be measuring something like its effectiveness. We are just measuring the practices. So does it actually measure the practices? That is the validity. The reliability talks about whether they are consistent in doing whatever they are doing. The validity, are they actually measuring what they are supposed to measure? So that is the question you should ask. Is this particular data actually measuring what we want it to measure? So that one, when that question comes, is talking about validity. So to check the validity, let's go back to the data set. You go to the same analyze. This particular time, you go to dimension reduction, and then you choose factor. I have already worked on it before, so let me have the data here. So you select as usual, and then you push them here. So I have my 10 items being measured. So in this one, you have to make sure you select something called KMO. And then, so to get the KMO, you come here. You could see the KMO down here. If it is checked, leave it checked. If it is not checked, check it. So that is the only thing you need for here, for the sake of this particular study. And then we have our results here. So now our KMO value is 0.941. The KMO simply means Kaiser-Meyer-Orkin. That is what they short as KMO. So we have this is a chi-square value. So this chi-square approximation and this one work the same way. So this particular side, you don't need it for now. I'll explain it to you in our later videos. But for now, we are dealing with reliability and validity. So this particular thing is what we are considering here. So now the threshold is, it should be, for it to be valid, it should be more than 0.6. So 0.6 and above. And this one is 0.941, which means it is valid. So now the analysis has been run. We are checking. So now I have the output here. Let's see how we report it academically. We could see the title, Reliability and Validity of Current Facility Management Practices Scale. So now we have our construct, we have the alpha, our KMO. They are the same values I inputted. And then our chi-square, this one and that, they refer to the same thing, checking whether the items are significant. And this one is degree of freedom and the number of items that we have measured. So now let's see how it is being reported. The reliability and validity of the instrument used to measure the current facility management practices and their environmental impact were assessed prior to further analysis. Reliability analysis revealed a Cronbach alpha of 0.953 across the 10 measurement items, that is the value, across this number of items, indicating an excellent level of internal consistency among the items. This suggests that the scale consistency measure facility management practices related to the environmental sustainability within the Ghanaian universities. Now, that is the report for the reliability here. We move to the validity. Construct validity was examined using the KMO measure of sampling adequacy and Bartlett's test of sphericity. the KMO value of 0.941 exceeded the recommended minimum threshold of 0.60, demonstrating that the sample was adequate for factor analysis. The Bartlett test of sphericity was statistically significant. So you see, I said this and that, they measure the same thing. So we brought it here. That is the significance. This one is being calculated manually, and this is the table value. We compare it to 0.05. And when it is less than, then that means it is statistically significant. So indicating that the correlation matrix was suitable for factor extraction. These results confirm that the measurement instrument is both reliable and valid for subsequent statistical analysis. So what we always do is that in performing reliability and validity, this one will confirm some further analysis that can be done. So if the questionnaire or if this particular information are not reliable and not valid, then it is recommended that these particular items must be changed. That means they can't achieve your objectives. So that is what they basically worked on. Do they achieve your objectives? Are they reliable and valid? So if they are reliable and valid, then you can move further to do further analysis. So I think this video finds you well. Please, I will leave the data sets in the description section. You can download, watch, and then practice on your own. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, and then share. Also turn on the notifications such that you wouldn't miss important videos.